Good day all. It is exactly 8 p.m. on 7/11/2024. Started this upload deliberately at this time. 8 represents infinity. And what is infinity? Just repeating the same old shit. This is the Self-Preservation Society, or Truth and Awareness if you're on YouTube. I'm Bazzzilll, broadcasting Truth and Therapy, BBTT. Here I am using a talking stick. And I'm going to continue the theme I started in my last upload, and it will hopefully be a developing theme because I'm learning and whatever as I go, and I share that learning. But those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And what a lot of people are aware of, and they could see it, but I don't think they really comprehend and appreciate the implications. They own your food, right? They own your food, and they've done this before. In the Middle Ages, for instance, when you had these big landowners, the squires, and this, that and the other, you weren't allowed to hunt on their land. It was called poaching. It was their land. The animals on it were theirs, the rabbits, the deer, etc., etc., etc. And so there was a lot of deprivation in the Middle Ages. One of the ways that America become the America we know today is because the major food source of the nomadic native peoples that the white Europeans found there was buffalo, bison. And they, as history tells us, killed 60 million of them. And so, if they didn't have food to eat, they become weak. Same with the Irish, the Great Potato Famine. What happened? The Irish moved to America. And you're moaning about these people from different parts of Europe and Africa, etc., coming to your shores, or you Americans are moaning those from South America coming to your shores. It's all been done before. There is nothing new under the sun. Jordan Maxwell. And those that do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And the reason it happens again and again is because as human beings, we're too busy fighting against human beings. Dancing to the tune of our masters, this, that and the other. And allowing them to have control over us and our mindset and our narrative, this, that and the other. That's why I will keep banging on about the difference between mankind and human beings. Human beings come from mankind. Billy Carson will tell you that the difference in skin colour, hair colour, eye colour, etc., etc., throughout all the earth is 2% in the DNA. When you look at the ancient Sumerian texts and you see how human beings were created, genetically modified from what was already there, added to the genetics of the Anunnaki to create human beings, them first ones were black. They were black-skinned. The original human being was black-skinned, mimicking their creators, the gods. so-called gods, merely visitors from another planet. From that first man, or from that first human being that was black, genetically they have been modified, corrupted. That's why we all speak in different tongues, this, that and the other, all done by genetics, this, that and the other. Not done by God, who you go and pray to every Sunday or Saturday or wherever. Wasn't done by God. It was done by intelligent beings from another world. And they have left their seed here for that to continue. So the first human was black, and their seed has corrupted that to black, white, yellow, red, brown, gay, straight, Republican, Democrat, everything you want to think of. And nobody, hardly anybody on this earth knows what it is to be mankind. Mark Passio was so right in his presentation from Philadelphia in 2014, I think it was. When speaking for nearly 9 hours, he brought it down to one word, one 4-letter word. I asked Will about that when I met him Monday. And he said, love? I said, no, it's care. It's care. You can't love until you know what it is to care. You've got to care first, then love will grow from that. And only man can do that. Humans think they can do it, but humans don't really love. They lust and they desire. It's that, another part of the narrative. And look at all the different ways we as humans express that lust. Raping and pillaging another's energy. That's not love. I don't care if you're if a male raping a woman, or a woman, you know, doing it to another woman, or doing it to a male, or a male or a female doing it to a child, or anybody. That's lust and deviancy, this, that, and the other. That is not love, because you don't care. We're going to repeat this. We're living through it now. Look at the rains that have fallen in Valencia, etc., in North Carolina, Tennessee, Florida, this, that, and the other. Look at the snow a couple of years back in the Sahara and whatever. They control it today in the way they controlled it yesterday. And you think those mud floods, people woke up one day and all of a sudden there was a mud flood? No, it happened over a period of time, slowly encroaching, just the same as what is happening now, for more or less the same reasons. Because as we learn all the time, or we should do, our masters, owners and controllers are learning all the time. And in the case of North Carolina and Tennessee, they've learned that there's a pretty substantial lithium deposit there, and they want the people off the land so they can harvest it and sell it back to the people. It's really interesting for me. There's that meme again. Look at that meme again. See, we could do this if we stood up against them. As I said in my previous upload, many will fall, but better to die standing than die on your knees. And you can't die anyway. You can't die for the life of you. All you can do is change your energy, frequency and vibration, like the butterfly, the caterpillar does, into the butterfly. But we, as human beings, don't do that. We never become so evolved that we become consciously aware. I'm becoming consciously aware. That's why I'm talking in the way that I do on my channel. And I'm mocked, I'm ridiculed, and I will be mocked and ridiculed by those that feast at the trough of their owners, their controllers. The thing is, you're so fearful of not having enough. Not having enough of their money to buy their things. They own all the food now. And the jab might not have worked in the way that they wanted it to. And so, the next step is what they've done before. Stop you eating their food. Only this time their food will be in the supermarkets. It won't be running on the plains or in the fields or in the woods, this, that and the other. You know, again, Max Eigen was right, and he's not the only one that says it. It's taken 2 generations for us to lose our life skills. Yeah, there's pockets of it out there. There is. But even they're under attack. If you listen to Doug and Stacey, he's been putting some good stuff out lately. He always puts good stuff out. Whether you agree with it or not is entirely up to you. But, you know, there's Donald and Benjamin. There, look. You know, I just can't get my head around it. You know, people have voted, and they voted for Kamala as well, but people vote for somebody to lead them because they've lost the life skill of being able to lead their self. It's true. Humans will never be able to lead their self. They will always need somebody else to do it for them. A man 2024 years ago, we're told, was born that give us the knowledge that we needed to go onward and forward as men, to stand up as men. 2,160 years before him, somebody else was doing it, and 2,160 years before him, somebody else was doing it, etc., etc., etc. Again, Jordan Maxwell will tell you about that. The story of this fella called Christ was merely the repeating Mithra and Dionysus and you know, Krishna and others that had come before. And we still don't listen. We still don't listen. We don't learn. We wait for them to come back. They're never coming back because they never left. We still don't see them because we don't look deep within our own souls to find what they told us was there, what they represented. They were no better than you and I. They just appeared to be because we are so in fear and have always been in fear of our own light. We're so in fear of leading ourselves that we reach out to the Donald Trumps, the Keir Starmers of this world, and etc., 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 for somebody to lead us. It's amazing because I say it again and again. Very little evidence of mankind about anywhere today. Very little evidence. loads of human beings, but very little evidence of mankind, unless you're in those islands of Borneo, unless you're deep in the Amazonian rainforest. Everywhere else, or maybe the nomads of the Kalahari, but they still, trade with money, seek money, whatever. There is little evidence of mankind, and that's why we are so easy as human beings to be manipulated and controlled, to hate our fellow human beings through the programs of emotion, mind, ego, etc., etc. You've seen the meme of the white baby and the black baby playing together, where it says, hatred is taught. And it is. We are taught to hate, and we teach to hate. And we expend a lot of energy doing that. We expended just a portion of that energy on caring. We will then start to love as we should love. Not as lustful or desire, physical desires, but as pure, unconditional, universal love. And it's interesting, the colour pink represents that. The energy, frequency and vibration of unconditional, universal love is pink. And yet, if people wear pink, they're mocked and ridiculed for it, male or female. It's brilliant how the system is so deep and far-reaching. And so controlling. And your ego, your individual and our collective ego won't allow us to admit to ourselves that we're controlled. That's how deep and far-reaching the program goes. And it's brilliant. You have to acknowledge it. Sometimes I applaud it. Rightly or wrongly, I applaud it. Because I see how it regiments the masses. It's what religion does. Regiments the masses. Whether your religion is God, sport, science, politics, whatever, that's what religion does. It regiments the masses. And the masses are no more than human beings who have lost connection with what it is to be man and to be kind. But I seek to change that. My words, deeds and actions, whether they be lost upon you, ignored, mocked, ridiculed, I seek to change all that. Michael Tellinger and his Ubuntu collective, he seeks to change it. He seeks to change it. There's plenty of people out there, should you look for them, that can offer you the knowledge and the tools for you to come to your own conscious awakening state. But instead, you prefer to walk in darkness, the shadows. Your demons are like a comfort blanket to you, and whatever, and materialism is your escape. It's so much easier to embrace the taste of steak than it is to face your own demons and accept everything in the material world, so-called material, physical world, as true and just and right and honourable and all those things, it's all false. Just like you as a human being is false. Just like you as a spirit of that human being is false. A corruption and bastardisation of that which you truly are, light and knowledge, a receiver for all that ever was, is and will be, blinded by your own light, comfortable in your own ignorance, and voting for your own enslavement, and thinking you are somehow just because your particular choice trumped this time. You're going to starve. Most of the world will starve to death because food won't get to you. Just like what happened in the Middle Ages, just like what happened to those nomadic plains, native peoples. You're going to starve. There is going to be a genocide upon you. You're going through it now, but because you and your family haven't experienced it, it's happening over there, doesn't affect you. You're next. You're next. All you human beings are next because you don't know what it is to be man and to be kind and to care for mankind and ultimately to love mankind. Human beings are programmed to hate and to alienate, and they do it so well. And it will continue as it has done millennia after millennia. It will continue because if you do not learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. So the potato famine of the Irish, the slaughter of 60 million bison, Biafra, etc., 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 will visit upon you, and you will be eating gruel before you die, before you pass, because you're only human after all. That's all you can ever see. You don't believe you are the light, the way, in the way that you were taught. You believe you have to vote for that, or you have to get down on your knees in a building once a week and pray for it and to it. That's the thing about humans. And it's simple, really. Man against man, man against woman, woman against man. You haven't got that. Only in the physical and the spiritual. The soul has no gender. The soul, you hear these new ages saying manifest and create and this, that, and the other. Very few of them actually say, I've often said this to Billy Carson, what about manifesting peace? No answer, no response, this, that, and the other. It's always on about manifesting wealth. The only riches that will ever serve you are the riches of the soul, of the conscious self. Otherwise, you will just experience incarnation after incarnation, a transient lifetime of potential material wealth, and then you'll leave it here again because you haven't awoken to the true self, because you're not man enough. You're just, I'm only human after all. Rack and bone, man. I'm only human after all. Well, you might well be, my friend, but I'm not. I realise we've realised the real lies that I am man here in the physical, and I am greater than my mind, my ego and my emotions and my spiritual self. I am awakening to that which I truly am, the light and the way, the Lucifer within. I am awakening to the fact that I create that which I experience, and I don't want to experience this anymore. I want to give life from my divine feminine self, life to peace, care and love. And I seek to understand how it is that happens and share to empower, enlighten and enable my fellow man to that. But I'm up against it because my fellow man likes to be human. Likes to be human and all that being human brings. Well, you're going to reap what you sow. It's happening now. The mud floods of yesteryear are repeating today. Maybe for different reasons, but they're repeating today. The famines of yesteryear will visit you, where you are. Won't be distant from you. And you will be sacrificed to the dark, demonic, satanic, spiritual beings that feast upon your very soul's essence. Because you're just a human being. You don't know what it is to be man, to stand up and fight, to have no fear, to break through the ignorance of the ego and the mind, to become aware of what you truly are. And so you will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it until you learn what it is to care and what it is to love. Not you the person, not you the spirit, you the soul will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, as we've done throughout history. You may well have been one of those Native American people that died of starvation because the buffalo had gone, or died because of the smallpox blankets. You may well have been, you the true you, not the person I'm talking to, the true you, may well have been one of those that left Ireland to go to America because of the potato famine. You may have been one of those that starved to death in Biafra and whatever back in the late 60s, early 70s. You may well have been one of those that Live Aid tried to support just back in 1984-85. You may well have passed away then and come back because you never learned. And we continue to do it until we know what it is to stand, incarnate here as man, not as a human being, but as man. Waking up. How long is this sleep going to last? How many incarnations is this sleep going to last until you awaken to that which you truly are? Perhaps you don't want to. Perhaps you love coming back and experiencing materialism and playing out your lustful desires and this, that and the other. Perhaps you consciously do it. Perhaps you're one of those that have sold your soul in order that you could come back and experience it again and again and again because you like the taste of steak. And you know I'm paraphrasing from The Matrix there, don't you? And perhaps you're quite willing and happy to forgo the truth because you're so comfortable in the lies. Perhaps that's you on a soul level. Perhaps you're happy and aware enough to come back and experience that. And perhaps you're not. Perhaps you don't know who and what you truly are, and don't know how to live in this third dimensional reality. And so you keep coming back and continue living. Care is in the manifesto of man. And if you care, empathise and love, then you, my friend, have a chance. You have a chance. Hate, by all means hate, but only hate that which causes harm, loss or injury. And none only hate enough for you to show care. So all you got to do, hate enough for you to show care. You haven't got to be controlled by hate. You can control it. You haven't got to do what your masters say. You can ignore them. You can bring them down. You can stand together with like-minded souls and be willing to forsake this transient incarnation of the soul to stand for and with those others that are here today and the next 7 generations to come. You can do that, but only if you're a man or a woman. If you're just a male and a female, you'll never do it. You never do it because you don't know what it is. You don't understand what it is to be man and woman. Think about what I'm saying. The manifesto of man for man must have its foundations in care. For it is only when we care that we can truly understand, know how it feels, and know how to express what is love. Unconditional, universal love. And we can only do it as man or woman. So if you're doing it, you're not a human being. And if you can do it against all that is being thrown at you, then I bow to you in humble respect, because there ain't many of us doing that. There ain't many of us doing that. As the television and the newspapers and bloggers and this will express to you, if you have the eyes to see and the ears to listen. There are no borders on the earth. There are no borders of the mind. Any borders in the mind are what we allow to put there or what we put there ourselves. Any borders upon the earth are what we allow to be put there or we recognise that which our masters put there. If you're forever going to be controlled by a physical, mental, or emotional border, you will never know what it is to create and be the centre of the universe and a receiver for all that was, is, and ever will be. And you're the sort of person that will be voting for a new leader, watching the television, and cheering on your favourite sports team and all stuff like that. Life skills will help you live on this planet. If you don't seek to understand them, you'll be forever living on this planet, incarnation after incarnation. The foundation of the manifesto of man is care. Humans hate. Mankind cares. This message resonates. Share the message. Don't share me. Wherever you're listening, share the message. And if you're not listening on my main Bitchute channel, link to it in the description box below. My email and other ways to contact me are there. My MeWe group, my MeWe profile, my Facebook group, etc. Some good articles down there. Royal Raymond Rife, No Forest Upon Earth, etc., etc. Go and have a look at them. Loz's Wealth and Hellness stories there. I must just tell you this. If you listened to the last video, you heard that telephone ring at the end. That was Matt from America, Rigby. And we had a chat afterwards. When I stopped recording, I pressed 1471 and realised it was an overseas call. And it was Matt, because he'd asked for my landline number. So we had a brief chat yesterday for a little while. We're going to have a much longer one shortly. Matt sent me a song that he wrote, Peace Flag. And if you want to listen to it, email me and I'll send you it. Beautiful, beautiful work by a beautiful soul, beautiful man. And yesterday I took an elderly, I say elderly, she's 86-year-old lady out I've known since childhood. She used to take loads of kids out, me and my siblings, her own children and other children out, Winkling, Blackberry, up Connaught Park when we were kids, this, that and that. And it's nice for me at this, as a circle of life turns, I'm able to take her out. And a fortnight ago we was out together and she said, Pat, get me a Christmas present. I said, well, what do you want then? She said, oh, I don't want nothing, or I don't need nothing. And I determined to get her something. And so I took her to a private reading with Barbara Ormond. When I never told her where we were going, what I was going to do, and all the way there, she's trying to think what I'm going to get her for a Christmas present. She said, I don't want one of them smartphones. She said, I'm happy with this. I said, I ain't going to get you a smartphone. She's talking about loads of other things, all of which was wrong. We got to Barbara's, parked up, I got her out of the car, walked into Barbara's house. She lives in a block of 4 terraces. And my friend Vera said, is it a fortune teller? I never expected her to get anywhere near it. I said, no, it's not a fortune teller, but you're sort of on the right track. It's a medium. Oh, what's the difference? I said, I'll tell you later. But anyway, all Barbara knew about her was her name. And I quickly introduced them and left them. I just said to Vera, don't tell her anything. she's here to tell you. Unless she asks you, don't tell her anything. Just say yes or no. And they went into Barbara's dining room where she does her readings. Me and Barbara's partner, husband Rob, went outside to talk about a few things. And we come back in and we're sitting in the living room and we could hear them. And I could hear Barbara, and I said to Rob, your missus is on fucking fire. Because I could hear what she was saying to her. And anyway, Vera was absolutely blown away. Absolutely blown away with the evidence she got. And we left there. And she kept telling about what she heard, what Barbara says. And she said, kept saying, how does she know that? How does she know that? Bless her. Oops, no, sorry, shouldn't say that. Don't want to say that. But, you know, I explained to her again and again and again. She was absolutely blown away with the evidence that she got from the spirit world about her life and this, that, and the other, and from the people that had featured in it, this, that, and the other. She was so happy that her late husband was there and asked her to forgive him because he hadn't prepared her for his passing. He always used to do all the paperwork, paying the bills, this, that, and the other, and this, that, and the other. And she said to me, she said, I was in a hell of a state after he'd gone because I, didn't really know what to do. I've had to learn it. And that was nice, really nice. But she kept saying to me, oh, Barry, thank you. It's the best Christmas present I've ever had. And I felt so good that I was able to take her to what I consider to be the finest medium in Kent, certainly, Barbara Ormond. And Barbara was able to help her heal and release from so much of the past, which I'm not going to go into or whatever, but she kept apologising to Barbara for crying, and Barbara said, don't apologise, I love to see you cry. I love to see my sitters cry because it shows that they're releasing and healing and this, that, and the other, as was the case with Vera Yesti. Absolutely wonderful. And we left there and went into Faversham for some lunch, into Ashford for some lunch. Went in a place in the precinct called Madeline's, and we both had a chicken casserole in just a small dish, slices of potato on top with cheese on top of that. Well, what a beautiful dish of food that was. Thoroughly recommend if you're in Ashford, try Madeline's, this, that, and I can heartily recommend the chicken casserole. Vera couldn't eat all those. There was so much meat in there. She couldn't eat it all. Beautiful. And it rounded off a brilliant day that we'd shared together, and certainly Vera had. And like I say, I don't say this lightly, but Barbara has given me personally, amazing evidence. I took my Auntie Julie up to her a few years back, 2 or 3 years back. She'd give her amazing evidence. Took Shelley up to her, give her amazing evidence. And now I've took my Auntie Vera up, and she'd give her amazing evidence. And if you in Kent, or even if you're beyond, and you want to contact Barbara and you can't do it, find it, send me an email. I'll send you, I'll give you a phone number and whatever. Just say Baz recommended you. When something's good like that, recommend it. Small independent retailers, recommend them. Like I'm always talking about Farthinglow Farm and the bread and that, etc. Don't care what it is. If they're independent, recommend them, promote them. You advertise them if you've got a good service, whatever, been treated well. Stop speaking about Amazon and you know, everything else that BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street own. You're the architects of your own enslavement. Because you give them the money they need to imprison you. Mind, physically, mentally, emotionally, and whatever. You give them the money they need to imprison you. Stop feeding them your physical currency and your energy, frequency and vibration. Man up. All you human beings on the planet, man up. Don't fear what could happen. Fear what could happen if you don't man up. If you're going to fear anything, fear that. Because if you don't learn from history, you're doomed to repeat it. Palamia, thank you. In Lakesh, in you I see another me. Mitakwe o Yasin. We are all related, we are all relatives. And I tell you, we're all connected. Share the message, don't share me.